With Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colv, and I'm here with our town clerk, Linda Hutchenreiter. Today, we're going to talk about some important things you need to know before voting in the upcoming primary. Linda, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So what is the most important thing, what are the things people need to know before voting in the primary? Obviously, you need to be registered to vote, and is there a cutoff date for when you have to make sure to register prior to voting in the primary?
Yes, you need to register to vote by February 15th. And if you want to make any changes to your voting status, you must do it by February 15th as well. We're going to be open until 8 o'clock that night. We have registrars on duty. So there's no excuse whether or not you are working or not. We are able to take your party changes. And you can also do it on a mail-in form that you can get at your local library as well. The big thing that I think that I want to get out to everybody is the fact that if you are a registered Republican, when you go to the polls, you are going to get a Republican ballot. Don't ask for a Democratic ballot, you won't get it, all right? And if you're a registered Democrat, you're going to get a Democratic ballot. Don't ask for a Republican, you won't get it, all right? And the same goes for Green Rainbow. You will only get what you are signed up for if you are registered in one of those three parties. If you are unenrolled, and a lot of people will say, I'm independent. No, you're not. You are an unenrolled voter. You have what 16 years ago they used to call independent, but it gives you the opportunity to choose any of these three ballots.
So say I am, for instance, registered Republican, and as of right now, I really would like to vote in the Democratic primary. Is there a way I can change my voter status prior to the primary so that I can so I do have an option?
The easiest way, so that you know definitely that you are going to be able to vote in that, is just to come into my office and fill out a form.
Sure.
You can pick up a mail-in voter registration card, but again, you're playing with the mail. And if they lose the card and it doesn't come through on time, you're out of luck. So your best bet is to come right into my office.
Sure. Now, for this primary, talk to me a little bit about the reasons. Why is it that if I'm a registered Republican, I must take the Republican ballot? Why, if I'm a registered Democrat, I must take the Democratic ballot? Talk to me about the reasons behind that.
I think people tend to forget that these are party primaries. These aren't just primaries like we have primaries in our town. These are specifically for the parties. The parties are trying to come up with one candidate that they are going to put on the ballot in November that will go against the other party candidates. So, for instance, on the Democratic ballot, we don't have a choice this year. You have Barack Obama, but we have listed right now in Massachusetts on the Republican side, we have Ron Paul, Mitt Romney, Rick Perry, Rick Santorum, John Huntsman, Michelle Bachmann, Newt Gingrich, and Mr. No Preference, which is a joke. But there is a no preference category there. And to me, if someone circles no preference, you haven't taken enough time to really study your ballot.
To me, it was essentially like not voting at all.
It's a waste of a vote. A lot of these people have dropped out, so I do recommend that you look on your slate and see who you want to vote for and make sure they're still an active candidate. But you also have, the other thing that I want to point out without losing it, is the fact that you not only have presidential preference people, you have state committee men and state committee women who are running. And the only people that are going to get elected, these people aren't going to get elected. They're just going to be chosen to be on a further ballot. The people that are going to be elected are your town committee people for the Republican and the Democratic town committee. So you have a different way of voting for this. If you want to vote the slate that they have chosen for you, you just need to make one circle where it says group. Just make that one circle. Otherwise, if you want to only pick and choose one or two people, do not circle that group. Just pick and choose one or two people. I would also ask people, please do not, just for the sake of writing something funny, write Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck. Probably because I said that, I'll now have 10. But those are not actual candidates. What you're looking for on here are people who may not have signed up in time, and they might be running a write-in candidacy for a particular office. Those are actual people. That is the purpose of a write-in. It's a write-in candidate. It's not just something to be funny about. Don't write your wife's name down because you want her out of the house. This is a person that you feel will serve the public well in the particular office. You are nominating somebody for a job. I do have one other thing. We have now in Massachusetts 26 different parties, and some of these are called political designations because they have not had enough people vote. You have to get over 3% of the vote on a state election in order to become a party. So you have the Pirate Party, the Pizza Party. Those are two new ones. I'm sure Johnny Depp had a little vote on that one night. And you have a lot of, Libertarian was a party, but it is no longer a party. So if you are signed up for America's First Party or any of the Socialist or We the People, World Citizens, and you want to vote in this election, come in and change your party affiliation to like unenrolled, and that will allow you to make a choice on the March 6th election. If you choose not to vote at all, that's fine. But if you want the opportunity to vote, you cannot vote if you have a political designation.
Sure. Now talk to me, Linda, a little bit about absentee ballots and the deadlines for those and kind of the rules and regulations, what people need to know if they do absolutely need to file an absentee ballot.
You can file for an absentee ballot if you are not going to be here on the day of an election. We don't have early voting. I know many of us think we have early voting, but we don't. You have to be out of town, sick, housebound, or for religious reasons cannot get to the polls or go to the polls. For any of those reasons, you can just send us a letter, and we will gladly send you a ballot. You need to fill the ballot out, and we're going to send you an envelope that looks very much like this. You then take your ballot. Once you have voted it, you will fold it up. I have two ballots here now. You will fold it up, and you will put it in the envelope. Now, if you are an unenrolled voter, you also need to let us know whether you want a Democrat, a Republican, or a Green Rainbow ballot, because we can't guess, and we will have to contact you again, and it will slow down the process. So make sure if you are not a Republican or a Democrat, and you are an unenrolled voter, that you let us know what ballot you want. And then when you're through, you put this right into this envelope, and then you fill it out. And you need to fill it out because we need to know who voted. We don't look at your ballot, but we need to be able to check your name off on the voter list. I had one individual who dropped his ballot off yesterday and said, yes, I filled everything out on the inside. When we opened the outside mailing envelope, we found out he had not filled this out at all. So his vote is not counting. So if you happen to be that person, you can come back into the office, identify yourself, and actually vote again. But we do need this all filled out.
And as you said, you don't look at the vote. You don't say, Mr. X voted this way. It's just similar to what happens when you actually go to the polling place in person. You give them their name, check it off the list, you make your vote, they check you off again, and then you put the ballot into the voting machine.
Right.
And it's all very private.
With all the ballots that we have, we really do not have the time, and in all honesty, we do not care how the individuals vote. We're looking at the bottom line total at the end of the day for the whole of the town. So
exactly.
That's where we're looking at.
Great. Well, Linda, is there anything else that you want our viewers to be aware of ahead of the primary coming up?
Nope, just make sure you are registered to vote. And the dates to look for this coming year is there will be another primary in September. Same rules apply, and that will be September 6th. And then you're going to have the presidential election in November, and everybody can vote in that, no matter whether you are a political designation or not.
Absolutely. Well, Linda, thank you so much for joining us today. And if people have questions, can they give you a call at the town clerk's office?
Please, anytime, 508-862-4044.
Great. Linda Hutchenreiter is our town clerk here in Barnstable. I'm Sarah Colvin with Barnstable Today.